Hey guys, I wanted to do a quick video on the current tool system I'm running right now. This is my day-to-day kind of tool loadout. So there's a lot of things to kind of cover between this is my main kind of pouch I'm carrying, and I'll show you how that works. And I have a tote that's down here on the floor that you can't see because it's probably a little bit too big for the table. You wouldn't be able to see it all. But I want to get into it, and I want to save kind of the top 3 best things I have right now for last, and I'll show you all at the end. But I guess I'll just start here in the front. This right here, this is my utility knife. It's just a Milwaukee Fastback, nothing special, but it works great. It goes in and out like I want it to. I like the Milwaukee just because that was what was at Home Depot. I've looked at some other ones. The Tough Built one's great. There's another, I think it might be a Cobalt or something like that. It has a wooden handle on it. That one works pretty good. But this one's the one I've been running with. It's the smallest kind of form factor. And has the easiest kind of slide out and in mechanism. So that I keep that usually clipped in here. If I have a tape measure, I will clip it somewhere else, or I'll keep it in my pockets, whatever. I don't have my tape measure on me actually, because that would just be too bulky. You wouldn't be able to see my bag here. But I want to move over to what I have as far as drivers. So I'll move this over here. I guess I'll just get into this one first. You know, multi driver. This one's cool because this one's the impact rated Klein multi driver, and it has the 3/8 and 5/16 drivers on them, so you can actually take out the bits and use that for your nut drivers, and that's pretty good. So I mean, you've got the standard flats. Let me see, what's that one? Yep, bigger flat. This one is going to be a Torx bit, and you have 2 sizes there. Go over here, and you got a square and a smaller square, and then you flip it over, and then that's your Phillips. Now, if you look close, you'll see that the Phillips is actually different than the rest of basically the whole tool, and that's because I lost the Phillips bit. And that's kind of the aggravating things with these multi-drivers. They work great until you lose something in them, and then it's so aggravating. But the cool thing about this one, it has this little adjuster here where it's ratcheting. Some people might pick on you for that, but I think it works great for opening up panels, any sort of thing I might need to, or I don't necessarily want to use like an impact or a dedicated driver for. I'll use that there. Speaking of dedicated drivers, I'll just get into these. These are the Milwaukee made in USA drivers. They're pretty new on the market. I've got the flathead, the Phillips head, and the number 2 square. That's kind of the standard big 3 right there. This flathead is probably the best flathead I've ever used, to be honest. If you look close, it has that laser engraving on it. That's not gimmicky. It's amazing. I think Wera does a similar thing. I cannot tell you or begin to explain how great having that laser etching on the tips of these drivers are for holding screws. I don't have a screw with me, but if I did, you can put pressure on these things and it will hold. These things are great drivers. I don't keep any sort of insulated stuff on me normally, and I'll get into that in a minute, but that's kind of my setup as it is there with those big 3. And then I have this kind of trim out flat. And I'll use this for different things. It's not quite a precision flathead, but it's close, and it will get you there sometimes if you need it in a pinch. And then of course you've got I don't know what they call this. It's technically a 5/16 size flathead, but this is like my big kind of beater screwdriver. that I'll use, and you can tell it's a little bit more a little bit more beat up than the rest of them are, but that's kind of like my standard beater driver, kind of demo driver, whatever you guys want to call it. So okay, I'm gonna move into, let's go over to some channel locks, or I guess they're called water pump pliers technically. I have two of kind of like the standard size here. Obviously this is the Milwaukee. You've got that Milwaukee kind of grip on it. These are great. They're a lot thinner than you might see other pliers. You know, these are just the standard adjustable, kind of open end adjustable water pump pliers, but you know, they're great. They work good. They've got the open ends for conduit reaming. You can obviously use the head of them too. If you look at the teeth, it's kind of hard to tell on the camera, but the teeth are oriented in, they're only a single orientation way of using the pliers. So there's no kind of cranking it backwards there. They're one way oriented, as opposed to these channel lock pliers. Now these are old. I've probably had these longer than I've been alive. They were my dad's. But these are single or multi-way kind of grips, and you see like they touch there and there's not a lot of space, or there's a lot of space in between there, but as soon as you go down it touches here, so it gives you a pretty good grip. Having two, I feel like, is super important, because if you need one set of adjustable pliers, you usually need two. But what came in the pack when I bought these was these little 5 or 6 inch tiny guys. These are cool. 1/2 inch conduit reaming and getting on things that don't need to be super tight, but this just works great for it. And they're super tiny in my hands, but they work, and they're strong, and they hold up nicely. So they're nice to have. They don't take up a lot of space in the bag, so I like those. You get over here, it's kind of hard to see, but on this end pouch right here, this is my Milwaukee stubby. This one's also ratcheting. I go back and forth about the Milwaukee one. As you can see, it's quite long. That aggravates me, because usually if I need a stubby, I need something shorter than this. So I'm kind of in the market for something new, but this is what I carry currently. It works in a pinch, and having the ratcheting is big. So yeah, that's my little stubby guy. I'll move over to this side. I'm gonna kind of turn it this way for y'all to see. This is, you can already kind of tell what it is. Standard GFI outlet tester. You hold it, turn it on. See, it's got an open hot because it's not in anything right now. But this one with a little screen is cool, because it has a function where it'll hold whatever reading it has. So if you're kind of stuck behind a wall and you need to put it around the wall, you can plug it in for a second, take it out, bring it out from under a couch or something, and look at it, and it'll still have, you know, the 120 or 118 on the circuit if it's a live circuit, and it works great. It has the test button. I like that this has a little bit more heft and size to it compared to a lot of other outlet testers, but it's kind of difficult to get in here. It's fine, but taking it in and out multiple times is typically aggravating. So if I need it for something, I'm taking it out and I'm putting it in my pocket. It doesn't go back in here until my job that day is done. But that's kind of where it lives long term. Back over here, I'm gonna get into some strippers now. I have a couple options here, one of which I don't have with me right now because it's at a job site, but these are what I'm running for some strippers right now. This one is the Klein kind of multi-stripper plier kind of thing. It has the crimpers at the bottom, and the the screw cutters, 832 and 632s. Honestly, I can't tell how low these go to. I think these ones go to 10 stranded, which is good for if you're doing, commercial lighting a lot of times that they upsize the wire for volt droppage. But these work great. As you can probably see, there's no more indication on what things are. So I know that basically the one in the middle, third one is 12. So I just adjust basically what I need there. I can go 12, okay, 10, 8, and then 8 is the same thing as number 10 stranded. So that works good there. And then the other ones, these are cool. I love them so much, but I've had them forever. These are my Klein Romex strippers. So as you can tell right here, they've got the strippers that are suitable for a whole Romex jacket. I do a lot of commercial work, but we do a lot of residential work too. So every time I'm messing with Romex, these are great. I can even do it inside of a box because they've got these kind of needle nose pliers, kind of feel to them. So if you're sitting in a box, you can even get back there in the box and clip out the whole sheathing to the wire. It does 14-2 and 12-2, and it also has the 12 and 14 single sizing. These cutters work okay. If it's 12-2 and you've got to cut a whole jacket, they'll work. I don't like it. I'll just use something else typically and use these as just single-use strippers. They've got the needle nose kind of plier thing at the end, but these are really not made for that kind of deal. You can see in the way that they're made here, they're just kind of made for stripping. They've got the holes to bend your wire around the screw terminals. You can actually see where some oopsies has happened, but that's okay. It happens sometimes when you're not being as careful as you probably should. But you live and you learn. I'm going to go over here. These are my dedicated needle nose. These are Milwaukee's. They're the dipped handles, which are good. You'll see a lot of them. I don't use a lot of insulated tools. I have a set, and I'll get to that in a minute. But I actually really like the feeling of the dipped handles. These needle nose are great. They go to a really fine point, which is good for grabbing things that are a little out of reach of fingers or other sorts of pliers. If I'm wanting to wrench on or twist something, I'll usually use something more like that, or just go to a simple pair of Linesman's Klein pliers. But yeah, they've definitely been worth every penny. These have been. They go in and out very smoothly. They kind of just fall open, which is what you want. These are my needle nose pliers. Moving over here. Okay, so I've got the 6-inch Klein level. I have a love-hate relationship with this thing. The magnets are great. They're perfect. I couldn't ask for anything better. Having the 35 or the 30 and the 45 as well as the 90 are great. It's a necessity for anything you're doing with electrical work. If you're bending pipe or really just using these, I'm going to get into this here, residential work, residential service work. We do a lot of dealing with having to access inside walls, so you might have to cut open a portion of drywall, where I'll use a level a lot to kind of outline where I'm going to cut the drywall itself, and I use my level kind of to create a line. And this is my problem with these. If you look here, right around the 30-degree line, it starts to taper off, which honestly, it makes it really nice for going in and out of bags. It really does. But when you're trying to use a pencil to cut out or to line out a square, and you've got it on the side of the wall here, and you've got it all level, and you're going down. That kind of taper off is aggravating because it throws off my line, and I know I've only got, about actually 4 inches of good usable space on the edge here. That's small, honestly, but it does aggravate me just a little bit about this. But I don't see myself switching to something unless it's a really good price and it looks like it's going to be a better fit for me. It has the open sights available for all 3 on these sides, which is great for weird angles you might have to use these in. Has the no dog on it. That's for bending, some big wire. You can also, if you go all the way out, you can also fit it on 1/2-inch EMT, like the whole pipe will go in there, but that's not really needed. It's for big pipe, and if you don't know how to use a no dog, that's completely fine. That's not even something to worry about. But I'm gonna go over here. All right, this is awesome. So Klein makes this kind of, and all of them come out. That's good. But what are these? Allen wrenches. There we go. Allen wrenches. Forgot the name of it for a second. But these sizes are great for panels. I use them mainly for. I don't have a pair of insulated Allen wrenches yet, and I want to get some. I think Wera has a really good set, but screwing on big bolts, big terminals for panels, this is perfect for that. Even the smaller stuff, it goes down to a pretty great size. There's some lighting stuff that you have to use Allen wrenches for, but this is kind of an all-in-one, kind of bulky, hefty, heavy-duty set. You could drop this 1,000 times and nothing would go wrong on it. I recently put some WD-40 to make it a little bit easier to go in and out, and it's kind of messing with my hands. But that's that. This one's a great one. Obviously, there's thousands of options for this kind of tool here. Whether you go single wrenches in a pack or these kind of multi Allen wrench kind of setups. But yeah, that's that. I'm gonna switch around here. And I'm going to get into my bags before I do so. So these are the Tough Built bags. As you see, I've kind of got them screwed into this 2x4 with a little handle I've made. It makes it easy for carrying things around, going in and out. A lot of service work. It's not the best to have a tool belt. If you're going up into an attic a lot, you're bending down at outlets a lot, you're doing a lot of moving around. Sometimes it's better to have kind of like, okay, this is where all my tools are. I'll take what I need, put it in my pockets. If I need something else, I'll just take a couple steps, go to my tool bag, get something I need. But typically we all know we can do most residential work with a very limited amount of tools. Just making up boxes and stuff. But I'm flip around here. This is I want to say it's the electrician's or journeyman's pouch. It's great. It has everything I need. Even I took the tape off of these, but this is for electrical tape. I'm going to hold that on there. That's something I didn't get into. Tick tester. This is my Cobalt tick tester. It's audible. It works great. It's amazing. I've used this for probably 3 years, and it's never failed on me besides every now and then the batteries are going out. And you can kind of tell that by how loud it is. But again, thousands of options for these kinds of things, kind of your preference. If you don't know how to use a tick tester, it's not confirmation that there's no power. It's to show you where there is power. And if that confuses you, there's videos online. You can see how to use these exactly. But just remember, don't put your life on these things because they can be faulty at sometimes. They're a quick read for something that's probably you'd be better for using a meter if you needed to make sure there was no power somewhere. But I'm gonna flip this around here. This is the Tough Built Specialist drill holster. I'm gonna say drill holster. It's a clip-in, and I'll show you how the system works here. These things right here at the top, and it goes for both of them. You can clip them in and out of these. It's called Clip Tech. These are the belt clips. These are made where you can actually screw them anywhere. So I've got them screwed into this piece of wood here, but you can screw them into your belts. They also make a tool belt where you can kind of put them anywhere you want. But these bags are great. But this guy, oh, this one's so good. I'm gonna save that for later because I have like a big 3, and that's definitely in my big 3. But I have my different bits here. Some people have bags dedicated to their bits, but for me, with this specific pouch here, it makes it very easy for me to have basically everything I need right here. If I need something else, it's going to be very specialized. I have that in my bag if I need it. But these things are great. You kind of go in here. They're the Milwaukee 1/4-inch clips, and they go in and out fairly easy, but it's not falling out. It's not falling out if you have a screw that's kind of catching. It's not going to fall out at all. Especially with these guys, it's going to take a considerable amount of effort to clip these out, and in sometimes. Now this one's pretty worn. It's pretty easy, but when you buy them brand new, you'll see like, oh, like I have to push these things together. All right, so I'm gonna get into my big 3 here before I go over to my big pouch. Big 3. Move this out the way. I kind of show you these. So, linesman's pliers, Kleins, whatever you want to call them, side cutters, some people call them. I think side cutters is the technical name for them. But these are the Kleins ones. These are actually the new, I want to say anniversary models. Now, I got these at my Lowe's, super discounted. There was a guy basically handing them out for a promotion that they were doing. This is great. It's covered in this black finish, which is super cool, but it's also got these kind of blackish, dark blue, sparkly handles. You might get picked on or something if I'm seeing, oh, you got sparkly handles on your Kleins, but it looks so cool. I have other pairs. This is the pair I had before. You know, it's the same thing, but I'm not gonna beat on this one as much, so I keep this in here if I need to beat on something. I try not to beat on my Kleins either way, but sometimes you can use the Kleins for reaming out pipe, and I try to stay away from that and use these older ones, but both are great. Kleins is top tier as far as lineman's pliers. As far as they go, I mean, they're so good that when someone says, hey, pass me my Kleins, everyone in the trade knows what he's talking about. These are the tools that built electricians. Klein Tools have been making tools since 1857, and they've been at the top tier of what you consider electrical hand tools. But there's a new kind of, not new, they've been around. The other brand that's big and is great in quality is Knipex, Knipex, whatever you want to say. I like to say Knipex because I like to say that the K is silent, and I'm wrong, but it's easier to say Knipex sometimes than Knipex. That's so weird. No one says Knight. If they're talking about a knight, they just say knight, so it makes sense for me to say Knipex. But these are their 10-inch, their angled head. We call them dikes, whatever you want to call them, diagonal cutters. They are great. I like the angled head. A lot of people don't like the angled head. but I like the angled head for specifically pulling out staples. It's great to, if you have a board and you've got a staple on the board, getting in on an angle and kind of prying it open and prying it up. Single use, I mean, I don't have to sit there and work at it like I would have to do with any other tool. I can grab them in one motion and the staple is out of the wall. It's pretty great. And these are great cutters. Open pretty wide. I can't ask for a better tool for a diagonal cutter. These two right now are probably my favorite tools to use that I have in my setup in my pouch. But yeah, I'm gonna get into this guy. This thing's beat up, you can tell. But I've had this going on 3.5, 4 years, and I have abused this thing. I've dropped it several times. It won't die. It is amazing. I bought it off of a Tool Monkey tool truck when I was working for Ford. I was just doing oil changes and tire rotations, and I was like, oh man, it'd be cool to have, you know, my own little driver. I don't need something super big because they've got their big stuff for taking tires on and off. But like removing skid plates and everything I need to do as far as like trim work with these cars, I was like, oh, this is perfect. They actually have, I don't have it on me, but maybe I do. I don't think so. They have a smaller battery, and it's basically this without this big brick where you can clip it in, and this thing is so small. It's a great form factor, but these big batteries are where it's at for me, especially this high output 5 amp hour battery. I go all week with it, and I use it daily, multiple times a day. The light helps here. It's a quick connect, so I'll show you how that works. It just pops in, and it doesn't come out unless you actually intend to pull it out, and you do that by pulling there. That quick connect is amazing. It's quick, so fast for changing out all sorts of bits on this thing. It has, you know, the 1, 2, 3 kind of different settings for power, and then the screw where it kind of starts slow and ramps up. Got 1, 2, 3. This thing is amazing. I love it so much. Yeah, amazing tool. And it wasn't that expensive. I think I got it 3 years ago for probably about $120. But yeah, this is I'm going into every single home with this pouch every day pretty much. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, me going through everything I use on a daily basis. This is my main pouch. I'm gonna do a separate video actually going over my tote, so be watching out for that. As for when that's gonna come up, I don't know. I'm gonna have to get this one edited and then see. But yeah, I love doing these things, so let me know if you want me to go over some other tools that you're looking into. I've tried a bunch of other tools, so I can, for the most part, I have a good eye for what's good and what's not. Everything is changing on here week to week, not week to week, but as time goes on and there's products introduced. I don't have everything on this that I use every day. There's a pair of Knipex strippers that I'll show you in the next video that are great, and I mentioned that on there, that they're at a job site, but those are amazing. But I have other ones that I used before, didn't like or liked, but have been overtaken by other things. So I'm gonna go over some of that in a future video. But like I said, I hope you enjoyed the video, and y'all have a great day. God bless.